What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Grey Exchange and the first International Prepper Conference of 2021. Glad to see so many folks. You guys have been chatting it up for quite some time. Truly appreciate every single one of you guys for being here. This should be an intriguing thing. And like I said, if you guys watched the video I did earlier, kind of giving you guys some tips and tricks of what's going to happen tonight. So be patient if you guys do ask questions and stuff like that. I can't go through the list tonight because you guys have been chatting it up. But thank you all to every single person that's out there today. I even saw the Prepared Homestead in there. Some great people in there. Bjorn Andreas Bolhansen is in the chat. Wow, some really cool, intriguing folks. And like we said before, we had chatted behind the scenes that we're going to try to reach out to other folks across the international area, like Bjorn and Shadow Scout and a bunch of other folks that are outside of the U.S. to keep on doing this maybe once a month or so like that. But on to the show, folks. I want to have each one of our my guests introduce themselves, and we'll start kind of according to the panel. Go ahead if you'd like to go ahead, Northern Girls.
Hi, I'm in Ontario, Canada. Fun place to be right now. Channel's growing, so thank you everyone who's come over and supported us. Much appreciated.
All right, Citizen.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having me here, Grey. It's always a pleasure, and it's nice to see you growing as well. I love the style that you have, and I think that we are definitely a good asset within the preparedness community, and it's a privilege to be here. We're from South Africa, my wife and I, and we've been doing the channel for a little bit over a year now.
Well, he has.
Yes, no, you've been assisting me
behind
plenty.
the camera.
Yeah. So I think we've been running it together for quite some time now, and it's just something that we really are very passionate about. I've been doing prepping for about 10 years, but you want to go ahead, Lynn?
Okay, yeah, well, Wayne and I from Victoria, Australia, and we've been prepping for a long, long time, as a lot of you know, but, you know, community is what it's about at the moment, so I'm really pleased that Grey invited me on here, and Grey knows Wayne and I quite well, and we're on the same page, and we're looking forward to this live today.
Awesome. I truly appreciate you guys for joining me and taking the time, because I know we're all in different time zones and all over the place, so I truly appreciate every single one of you for joining me this evening as well. All right, so we're going to try to dive into it, and folks, I saw Alexandra. Thank you so much for the super chat. I'll try to address those things as well as they pop up on the screen, but we're going to try to focus, or I'm going to try to focus on the panel. So first thing where we're going to dive into is something I'm pretty sure all of us are experiencing, is food shortages. Here in the U.S., I've seen food shortages. I know people, for some reason, they think that we're dreaming this stuff up, that it's something that's non-existent, because they go to a store one day and they see all these shelves full, but they don't take it any further. So I know I'm here in the U.S., and a lot of folks in chat have discussed the shortages that they've seen. Even in the Discord server that I have, people have been talking about these shortages. Now, Northern Girl, have you been experiencing in your area in Canada, have you been experiencing any type of food shortages, and to what extent are they?
I'm not really seeing like a whole lot of shortages right now. A little bit short on rice, I want to say, and butter. Like there was no butter when I went to the grocery store. It reminded me of being in Cuba, to be honest. And but I mean, like all the meats and vegetables are there. Some of the vegetables are kind of wilted, you know what I mean, on their way out kind of thing. There's a lot on the discount shelves. And as far as meat goes, there's still chicken, there's still all of that stuff on the shelves, but the beef prices are like double of what they used to be. It's insane.
Right on. It's intriguing to see how prices have been skyrocketing. And you know, I did a video not too long ago where I showed basically a rack of ribs went from like $20-some to $40-some, almost doubled in price. So let's move on to Citizen Guardian. Have you guys been seeing in South Africa? I know there's been some other instances, but you guys, when you guys go local to your local shops and shopping, have you guys been seeing, you know, things missing or things not in the same quality or prices and stuff like that in your area?
Well, do you want to answer this one?
So I do most of the shopping for our household. And not really, because here in South Africa, we obviously we produce a lot of our own stuff. Like we don't need to have our stuff sent in from another province. For example, I know quite recently we did have some riots, and obviously KwaZulu-Natal is like where most of our sugar comes from. And we could only get the small packets of sugar. I'm talking about like a 500-gram packet of sugar.
Wow.
Because that was the only size that was left that you could buy in the store. So like we had to buy like 8 little packets of sugar to have sugar for like the next 2-3 weeks. Yeah, like things like that. But when it comes to fruits and vegetables and meats, we've got a lot of local farms. Obviously, prices can be quite high, specifically with mutton for us. I don't know why, but I've noticed with mutton and lamb, the prices have been very high lately. But other than that, there haven't been any shortages that I could say.
Yeah, what I'll add to that as well is just the way that we got to, really have a first-hand experience exactly of, as with many of the other countries in the world. As soon as there was, with the beginning of last year's situation that we all experienced, when there were shortages across the world, we experienced them very quickly and drastically. So in a SHTF type situation,
we'd be cut off
we
real quick.
we would be surprisingly out very, very quickly. And there's already certain problems which add weight to that, as it is regarding the food shortages.
If I may, I know we only got like a few minutes, but so like
That's fine. Yeah.
Jared's bike is in for some upgrades at the moment, and one of the reasons it's taking so long is because we're waiting for everything on back order that has to come from out of the country. So the mechanic was like, hey, so it might be like 6 to 8 weeks, to get your fork protectors and your radiator, so it takes time for things like that, but not so much with food. I know that we've had a problem with other things.
Yeah, surplus.
Yeah.
Right on. All right, Lynn, anything that you've been seeing? Because I know you guys have been getting hit left and right with every possible aspect of things. So let us know what's going on with your food situation and down in that area, outside of the food that you have on your homestead,
That's right. Yeah. Well, I actually went to the supermarket yesterday just to grab a couple of things because I try not to use my stores, and that's a recommendation I say to people. Like, if you don't get lazy, just keep buying your fortnightly or monthly supplies and keep your preps away for that emergency. And that's what we do. Anyway, so we've got a trucker strike here at the moment, which is actually affecting our supermarkets. So you probably realise that the truckers are on strike because they're trying to keep their freedoms as well.
Awesome.
And it's not actually on the MSM, they're hiding it, but we've seen hundreds of trucks out on the road, and of course our food is being stopped. So I went to the supermarket yesterday. Yeah, the shelves were a lot emptier. I ran out to Wayne afterwards and I said, yeah, you can tell they're on strike. So yeah, that's the thing. And, it's something that we've got to be aware of. People say, Ice Age Farmer's fantastic. We all watch him and he's right on the ball with everything. But there's so many strategies in place for food shortages. Like it's weather control, if I can say that here. There's the trucking strike. There's supply. Like, companies can actually just shut down their supply so quickly under government control, and that's what's happening here too.
Interesting. Yeah. See, here in the U.S., it's a culmination of things from what I've seen from my personal perspective. With the health crisis, of course, being one of them, which has created a labor shortage, which labor affects factories and shipping and so on and so forth. And then the weather phenomenon, like you said, weather has a lot to do with the droughts out west. We've had some derechos, we've had the hurricanes. There's a lot of things that are affecting the crops over here in the U.S. To the point where we become dependent on other countries for imports.
Yes.
Even, ironically enough, we import a lot of stuff out, which is a little weird because we need it here. But who's to say what the actual game plan is and long-term game plan of our government specifically? All right, so let's kind of touch on something else, because I guess the food supply is a huge thing, because without food, that's a necessity and survival in general, outside of water and whatnot. But the supply chain, like Citizen Guardian was talking about, the supply chain in regards to other products. for electronics and stuff like that. So we can kind of touch on that real quick, even though it relates to the food supply. But how many of you guys have been seeing, disruptions in generalized supply chains? It can be anything from, toiletries. It could be, electronics. Things for your gardens and seeds and stuff like that. So, Northern Girl, I'll let you go first.
Okay, I sell Avon. I'm sure everyone knows this. I've been selling Avon for 7 years. Last year, I did like almost 25,000 in sales. This year, I am barely making 10. Talk about supply chain issues. It's not good. I need to find an alternate source of income. For other stuff, like when we do our own wood here, so we run 2 chainsaws. And the other day, I went to pick up the mixed fuel, and there was 2 left on the shelf. And the whole front shelf of this place where we go to purchase our stuff for the chainsaws was totally empty, completely empty. So yeah, it's hurting.
And just to touch on that, are you guys seeing a labor shortage as well in regards to having enough employees to run the businesses and things of that nature?
Oh yeah, like you go into Canadian Tire, that's our local kind of store, kind of like a Walmart, but it's just like an everything kind of place. Mm-hmm. I walked in there the other day and there's a sign on the door for all these positions, and Canadian Tire never ever had that problem before.
Wow.
Yeah.
Citizen Guardian, same kind of questions to you. Are you guys seeing anything with supply chains? Like, I mean, you guys are kind of touched on that, or lack of of employees or enough help to keep things running smoothly.
Well, our unemployment rate recently actually hit an all-time high. You want to go ahead on this one? Sure.
No, I'll just say my 2 cents. At the moment, South Africa, so I work for a company in the States. So we're struggling to find employees, like for us. But here in South Africa, like everyone's looking for jobs. We don't have jobs here. Our unemployment rate is like at something ridiculous, like 36% or something right now. It's just really bad. So people are desperate for jobs here. Like people will like come knock on your door and be like, hey, can I clean your yard? For money. Like people are desperate for work here, and they just aren't jobs because our economy is just like wrecked by the lockdowns.
We're starting to look at instead of a percentage of unemployed, we're starting to look at a percentage of employed. Employed, yeah. Because our unemployment rate in our local region over here just went above 50%.
Yes.
So you can look into that as
half of the people between the age group of 40 and 25 are unemployed.
And that obviously increases the crime rate, of course, and it increases like a lot of stress and a lot of problems for a lot of people. And
a lot more, I don't know if it sounds awful, but like vagrants and people begging, and like, especially when it's kids, I can't say no to a kid if they come ask me for money for food. I'll like even buy them food or like give them money and they'll go buy food. I can't say no. So it's really sad, and it's happened to a lot of people losing their jobs, specifically in our country.
Interesting. Lynn, same questions.
Yeah, well, we're seeing a lot of farm machinery that's in short supply. Look, right across the board, there's so many things, just like you guys. But I think CG and Kay hit the nail on the head. From this, we're going to see a lot more theft, and that's what we're seeing here, is a lot more theft and a lot more civil unrest. If people can't get what they want, they'll try and get it somewhere else, usually in someone's backyard. So so that's what's happening.
I concur. We're having issues. Just there was in the news earlier, Oregon, as folks walked into, I think, a Lowe's or a Home Depot. They know that they can steal within a little bit under $1,000 and walk out. They will not be arrested. So they're just taking what they like. And that's also happening in California. There's been videos. People have been showing it's all over social media. So you're correct, which is going to destroy those businesses and pull those businesses out of those areas, which is going to create more of a situation with the homeless and crime. Crime's going to skyrocket from that point of being.
That's right. Oh, and I should add into Alex is a contractor. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, he'll be on one job and then they're waiting like 2 weeks for the shipment of the rest of their stuff to come in for them to be able to complete a job. And so, yeah, supply shortages on construction materials definitely here. And even car parts as well. Like when I had to get my car fixed, the brakes, I ordered the second set for when I have to do them again.
Interesting.
Smart. Yeah.
Prepper Book Club, thank you so much for the super chat. Truly appreciate that, brother. Thanks for the support. All right. So that being said, or you kind of guys touched on some good topics in regards to civil unrest, because the more as you kind of see, I'm going down a path of these dominoes. Food supply, general supply chain issues, which, as you guys have already touched on, is slowly pushing people to get desperate, and when people become desperate, they start to lead to crime. Here in the U.S., the eviction moratorium has ended, so a lot of folks are either going to have to pay up, a year's worth of rent or mortgage or whatnot, in most places in the U.S. So that's going to create a lot more people on the streets, a lot more people that are desperate, and it's also going to increase crime. So where was I going with this? I lost my train of thought.
Civil unrest, yeah, that's what we're coming to.
Okay, we're here in the U.S. There was just a riot over in the Bronx towards police officers that transpired recently, and of course, Oregon and places like that, Washington State, California. You've been seeing a lot of civil unrest still, even throughout the entire year, and continuing to this day. Northern Girl, I know outside of civil unrest, I know you guys have been seeing a lot more proactive protests in your area in regards to the government overreach that's happening in Canada. Do you want to touch on that?
Yeah, they're doing I'm starting to echo. I hear myself. Weird. Yeah, we are doing freedom rallies, you can say. And if people are in Canada, they can go to Action for Canada, and they can get a whole bunch of forms that they can print off, and they can see where all of the rallies are happening. As for the unrest, we're seeing it on a smaller scale here with the theft and like locally, and of course with the drug use, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, but here I'm the only one that goes to the store, the local little convenience store, without wearing the thing. You know what I mean? Even when I go shopping in the next town. So, like here, it's just, yeah. We're also being labeled as the only ones around that never got the juice.
Right. Everybody's focusing on you guys, which draws a lot of bad attention.
Yeah.
I understand that. Citizen, I know you guys, the last that we've known in South Africa was that situation that arose with the food riots, as I call them. You guys have seen anything else of that nature transpire, or any spikes in civil unrest in your area?
Well, the best way to answer that question would be I always try and speak well of my country's current situation as well. So I'm quite careful and cautious when approaching this topic. But the best way for me to put this would be that, some of the things that people see just on the outside that occur happen more often than not. Like our country has a lot of problems internally that are there, but we are trying to move towards a better future as a country as well. And that's the truth, is that we really are trying to move towards a better country. But there are absolutely things like our crime rate. If you ever have a chance as well, if you look at I strongly encourage people to do this after the stream. Go and Google the crime rate of South Africa versus the United States, or the South Africa versus pretty much anywhere else. And you'll see that we've got some of the most horrendous crime rates absolutely in the world. And
about this weekend that passed now, I think on Saturday or Friday nights, a guy my mom went to school with, because their whole, they call it the matric group, that was in their final year. They're all on a WhatsApp group, and he was attacked on his farm and he was shot dead. And his son is in critical condition in the hospital. Like, we have a lot more of that happening than it's like active. Okay, people are always protesting something. If it's service delivery or something, like some way someone's protesting about something in South Africa. It's like a norm. But we've seen an increase in crimes like that. And it's because people are desperate and they see someone who has something that they don't. And then the mindset that's been planted is you could have that too. You just need to take it. It's your right to take what you want, type of thing. And that's where the problem comes in.
Thank you for sharing that. Homestead Oss. I know you guys have been seeing less civil unrest and more things on, protesting, what your government is doing to you in regards to the prime minister and whatnot. Do you want to touch on some of that?
I do, Gray. And the important factor here is that Citizen Guardian, probably for the last 30 years, Wayne and I have watched South Africa, how it's been evolving. And we've got close friends that are from South Africa. Now, I've always said to Wayne, it won't be long and Australia will be like South Africa. And how they're doing that is this segregation, as we know, which is, are you VED, aren't you VED, freedom of speech. Like just today, they've come out and said, Victoria, if, for instance, here's an example. You've got a comedian up on a stage and he's talking about maybe gays and joking about them. Now you'll get a 3-year jail sentence if you do that. Okay, so if you're at the pub and you go, oh, well, I don't really like Christians or Muslims or whatever, just saying that to a mate and someone overhears that, as of today, they can actually jail you for that. So our freedom of speech is gone. They use different tactics on us. Civil unrest has been here because we've had gangs here for years and, it doesn't get on the MSM so much. But the big issue out now with us is freedom of speech. For instance, me being on our YouTube channel speaking out, I'll get an $11,000 on-the-spot fine or a 3-year jail sentence. So I've got to be very careful what I say. Also, when Wayne and I walk out our back door of our house and walk onto the farm, we have to have a permit just to work on our farm now. Now that we can see where that's leading to. So basically what they're saying is you need a work permit to work on your own private property as a farmer. And what that will lead into is we want to control everything you do on that place. That permit's just the beginning. So, yeah, we have different issues here. We have a lot of people standing up, but the civil unrest for us is actually the civilians of Australia are now feeling very unrestful, if you know what I mean. And we've been called pussies by a few people. We've been called, not standing up. Hey, you guys aren't seeing what we're doing. You're not seeing what we're doing. Those of us that are freedom fighters, those of us that are freedom fighters are standing up and working day and night. I sleep about 3 hours and I'm happy with that. Why? Because I'm fighting for my freedom. Gray, do you want me to keep going for another 2 minutes on that one, or do you want me to keep going?
No, it's up to you. I saw something grabbed my attention in chat.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and this is where we're going right now. And of course, you're not hearing from Australia what's really happening. I'm not hearing from Canada. But one thing I did hear from Canada, sorry to interject this too, but, the PCR test is actually a non-discrimination. It's come under the Non-Discrimination Act. And now the Canadian Police Association are backing you guys, saying, no, that this is criminal. So we're getting somewhere in that regard. But, we've got to look at the play. And we're in for the battle of our lives. And if you're not strong enough to fight this battle for your life, well, I don't know. It's time to get tough, guys.
Right on, Lynn. Real quick, I see that we have about 230 people in chat. I want to say thank you guys so much. If you guys could please smash that like button. We want to get this message out. We want people to see this video. I hate saying their name, but they like to suppress channels like this. Everybody on this panel, when we produce content, it's more suppressed than a lot of other things out there. So we're trying to beat that suppression by you, the subscribers, by smashing that like button, dropping comments, interacting with the channel and stuff like that. So we truly appreciate you folks when you do that for us. Also, if there's anybody in chat that ever wants to become, wants to join me on a panel like this, please reach out to me. All my information is down below in the description, emails, and other social media contacts. All right, moving on. So we had to be really touchy on this next subject, or really, let me see, really, how do they want to say, really careful on this next subject because it's affecting everybody, and I'm just going to call it the health crisis, okay? I like to use that term. It seems to be friendly across social media platforms. I don't get too much slack for it, even on here. So in regards to the health crisis, since it's been transpiring, have you guys seen a lot of government overstepping their bounds in regards to your freedoms that you had previously to before all this started? You guys get that kind of question, what I mean by that? Okay, so Northern Girl, I'll let you go first. How was life prior to the health crisis, and now how has life differed, and how is the government affecting your way of life?
Oh my. Maybe let someone else go first on this one, and then I can think about what I'm going to say.
Okay, take your time. Citizen, do you want to go next?
See, I'm always full of words. It's terrible. I've actually got to remind myself not to ramble on too much. I've got to be like, okay. So if I just addressing this specific topic, it definitely has strained and already, as previously mentioned, the current economical situation that we've got, which was already underneath a lot of strain. It's worsened that to a large extent. That's something that we're really seeing a lot of. A lot of companies are struggling heavily because of the restrictions that occurred last year. So already with a country that was struggling in a lot of ways, it's really like, punched us another one in the gut. It's kind of really given like a lot of, it's taken bad things and made them a bit more amplified. So we're seeing a lot of that, and it's definitely been hitting us. We've got I'm going to spell it out, the DELTA variant over here as well. So that variant itself is actually quite heavy. We've been impacted. A lot of our family and friends. We have been losing people over here locally, so it has been quite intense. And I understand that the worst thing that's happened with it, if I can just add this, the worst thing that's happened with it is how strongly it's been politicized, and people have found a way to then put themselves into different camps, and then when they've done that, it separates people once again. And then we've got even more diversion on top of the already pre-existing diversions that were there previously. Sorry to ramble on, as I said I would, but that's it for me.
I wanted to just two questions, and you can answer this how you like. And this is going to go to the other two panelists as well. Do you guys have the two specific mandates that we have here in the U.S. that are spreading like wildfire, which is the face coverings and the coercion to take, medication, if you kind of get what I'm saying?
Oh yeah. And the kids are going back to school too. So this is a scary thing I think ours hits on the 22nd of September. And Quebec already has their things that start with the P's and ends with yes.
Right on.
They already have it, and the QR codes.
Yeah.
Oh, so you're dealing with the QR codes in Canada as well?
Yeah, they're threatening it here too for Ontario for the end of October. Intriguing.
Another way to track you, per se, right?
Yeah.
Homestead Oss, how about you?
Yeah. The QR codes have been in force here for quite a while. We also are just looking like France, that, you can't go to restaurants, pubs, businesses can not let you in because of discriminating whether you've had the V or not. That's in now, basically. And so the issue here is the mental illness, and people, that's what that's what's happening. And people are being pulled out of their homes, put into isolation camps. That's a fact right now. I think we all know about Nazi Germany, and I keep saying it. It's here very strong right at the moment, and it's happening to, it's across the board. It doesn't matter whether you're rich or poor or black or white or whatever. It's everybody. If you do not comply, you're in trouble. That's the thing. Mm-hmm. And so we're looking at, watching China when this started, all those little snippets coming out, and we're going, oh, maybe that could happen to us. And then I started to analyze the situation. I looked at Wayne, I said, this will happen to us, and it's happening right now. So the solution for that's the main thing is get your communities organised, get people around you that you trust, and learn to be streetwise on what's going on. Everyone around here at the moment is very reactive, very emotional, because, you can't go 5Ks out of your own zone. You can't go, you've got curfews, you've got police pulling you up all the time and being brutal. We're seeing everything that we would have seen in Eastern European bloc. We're seeing everything's happening on the ground. A lot's covered up. Well, guys, reactions won't help. We need to be strategic. We need to get our groups together of like-minded people locally and really focus on how we can keep safe ourselves.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, yeah, it's like I said, there's so much going on with Australia, and a lot of folks think to themselves, "Well, this will not happen here." And as you see,
it's going to come. Yeah.
It's spreading to Canada. We've seen, little sparks here in the U.S., even in California and stuff like that. Luckily, in the United States, we're a republic of states. So some people have it better than others, like let's say the state of Texas or the state of Florida and stuff like that. And people don't like to trust any type of politicians, but at least the politicians that we're dealing with here locally are doing something to at least assist the people in the right direction versus things that you see that are transpiring in, let's say, California, Oregon, New York, Chicago, and stuff like that. So there's a little bit different the way the puzzle pieces are moved around here in the U.S. So I guess I can thank our forefathers for that here, for the way we're a republic of states. So,
exactly right, Gray. Yep.
So that's a benefit. So I'm curious this is my next question, and I'm curious and we'll start. We're going to start how we've been starting. And I said thank you so much again, folks, for being here, and I appreciate everybody's in chat. I'm sorry I've been missing chat. I'm just trying to focus on the guest here and think of the questions that I want to bring the information to light to share with you folks that are watching tonight. So that you can see this is not just centralized in your small city, your small town, or even in your own country. So this is why I wanted to do this. I want to show everyone out in the world. It's just not centralized to specific areas. It's worldwide. Everything is happening worldwide. If you look at the eerie similarities, it's a very scary thought. If you guys look into history and what the plans are in regards to central currencies or central banks running digital currencies and the aspect of one world government. All right. So what I want to ask you guys is, where do you see the next year or so of your country? Where do you think it's going to go? Do you see anything alleviating? You think it's going to get worse? Where do you see your country going from this point on? Northern Girl?
Well, we have that election coming up here very soon. This could be interesting. I have a trauma disorder, so I always think the worst. I'm not an optimist per se. Perhaps that's why I'm a prepper. You know what I mean? But I think we're going to hell in a handbasket over here, especially in Ontario.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen it. It's starting to spread throughout the provinces in Canada as well. I've been seeing it slowly kind of, spread out like wildfire pretty much before it engulfs the entire country of Canada. Citizen. Your mic is muted, brother. Yeah.
I noticed that. Sorry about that. I saw that in a second. So I just noticed that what is happening is there was a little bit of feedback when Northern Girl and Homestead Oz were talking, and I noticed that it might have been from my side a little bit slightly. Mm-hmm. So sorry for muting myself when we're not talking. So to address the current question as well, I kind of agree with Northern Girl there, where being a pessimist to some, and I think it's more than being a pessimist. I think you may agree. It's also being a realist. Just looking at the way that things are, specifically internationally, which is why this is such a good idea that Grey's got as well to bring us together to speak about these topics. But it's just that the next year and to look ahead, it's kind of. I'm always expecting the worst as well, as you said as well. I'm kind of always, having that perspective on it, but at the same time, doing the best that I can to live the fullest life possible and pretend in a way, specifically as a parent, as a father, pretend in a way that everything is absolutely fine and nothing's going to change, and to not give that doom and gloom aspect to my little one as well, because she doesn't need to. I've got a little one, and she really doesn't need to be stressed about the things that we are completely informed of. The four of us sitting here, the five of us sitting here, are people that are aware of the current I counted both of us here as one. But like
Amalgamated.
so basically, I think it's very important to understand what could potentially happen in the future at all times, because if a brief look at history, but for the next year, it's kind of a good question. But it's, I don't know if you want to share some. Yeah.
So at the moment, we have kind of like the stimulus package in the States, where they give money. We have that as well. And now they want to kind of try it out as like a basic thing that they want to do forever and ever. Now, the problem is that in South African currency, it's a pittance. It's nothing. It's 350 Rand, which if you convert it to dollars is about $35.
$30, yeah.
Yeah, it's like a ridiculously low amount. So now, because it's such a low amount, people think like, hey, if we can get this now, why can't we get this forever? But then the problem is they want to start. I read an article, so let me not speak as though it's truth, but I read an article that there were some people within our parliament suggesting that people who haven't had the V can't get the grant. So they want to start holding that back from people who are, and like, in order to get that 350 Rand, which you can really like, that's not you can't survive with that. Right. In order to get that, you have to be able to prove you have no income and you're poor and broke. You know, you have to prove that you're basically somebody who has nothing else and you just need something to help you. And I feel like they're taking almost advantage of poor people. And it's going to lead to a very scary place in this country if they all of a sudden say, it's mine, can't have it anymore. Because now people have gotten used to it.
Yep.
Yeah, I would concur before I go to Lynn. It's UBI, Universal Basic Income. California is trying that. It's only work. They're only giving it to select people as well. The people with, the folks that are in this situation who are poor, who may not have enough food or money to survive on, agreed, they are being taken advantage of, and they're the easiest manipulated because they have nothing and they need things for their family. People are willing to go above and beyond. Just if you look at your child and you see your child starving, and so on and so forth, people they're really quick to take something from the government, a government handout, not realizing what the long-term effects of that might be. All right, so Lynn, we'll come to you with that question as well.
Yeah, well, the same thing.
Country.
The same thing. The universal basic wage is getting set here at the moment. Am I echoing? Yeah.
No.
Okay. No, that's good. Okay. Yeah. So, JobKeeper, the same stimulus packets have been put out here. And I've said from the start, this is the reintroduction to the universal basic wage. And people are now very dependent on that. Businesses aren't protesting, a lot of them, because they're getting too much from the government. If you're getting, I just got told from a friend that her boss has got 100,000 Australian dollars in the last few months from the government to, that's his stimulus packet. A lot of money. People are getting a lot of money here to keep their businesses shut. So if you shut your doors, you prove yourself that you're not making too much money. Well, you're getting, so why would you want to protest? Unfortunately, we know what that leads to. So, there are businesses out there that have got principles, what I call morality still, and they're in for the good of humanity, and they might be still having to take that stimulus for the government, but they're also having a bit of a humane approach, as in, no, we're not going to discriminate against whether you're VED or whether you're not VED to come into our shop or our business. It's crazy times, guys, and the manipulation is just so strong, as we know. And look, the minefield out there, what I see in the next 12 months, I see the Great Reset will be accomplished by Christmas 2022 here. I can see that. And so how they're going to do that reset, it's not all about the V, as we know. That's a big issue at the moment. It's about controlling every one of us as citizens, and this is what they're going to achieve here by Christmas with so we're looking at the social credit system being in here by Christmas. I feel already in South Australia they're starting that, And so, you know, if you're a good boy and you don't go and get a speeding ticket, you're fine. But if you just went over 3Ks, well, there you go. You can't buy groceries that week. We know that happens in China. So this is what we're looking at. And what's that going to cause? You know, we've got gangs here in Australia that have come out of China, the triads and all the rest of it. They were built from having a social credit system that they couldn't comply with. These guys didn't fit in, so they turned to criminal activities. This is what we're going to see. So, yeah, but on a positive note, if we're preppers, we're prepared. We've got our food stored away for a few years. We've got our water. We think our mental strength is strong. That's the thing. You know, I'm just seeing so many people that have come into the prepping community since this began, food shortages, toilet paper shortages. A lot of them have stacked food away, but mentally they're not prepared. They're still very stressed. My suggestion to everyone out there that feels like that, you need to start stepping back, calm yourself down. Yes, you've got now your supplies up, but look, we're in for the long haul. What can you do in your own home and your own local community to get solutions done?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree. That's why I tell a lot of folks, you know, be it if you're a small channel or a large channel, people who take the time to watch us, you know, and support us builds the bulk of this community. Because without them, this would not be a community. It would just be us talking to ourselves, correct? It's nice to know that there's people out there that are in the same mindset. And a lot of people have written me personally and stated things to the aspect of that they are depressed, they are scared. They're glad that there's channels like ours because they don't feel like they're alone anymore. I don't know if any of you guys have experienced this. Even me personally, I've experienced this. Have any of you guys have gotten, let's say, the sniffles or a sore throat, or, you know, just something odd happens to you, and in your head you think, oh my God, is it happening to me now? Have I caught this situation? You know what I mean? And it starts eating away at your psyche. You know what I mean? Because I talked to so many people, they're like, man, I thought I had it yesterday because I had a sore throat. And I've noticed people are just so anxious that's the first thing that they jump to is that fear. And I think mainstream media, at least here in the US, has pushed that fear into a lot of folks.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's how they control the masses.
Mhm.
That's it.
The fear. I have one fear. I have to go for a lung CT scan, my third one, on the 28th of the month. And our big mandate is happening on the 22nd.
Wow.
So what's that going to mean? I'm not going to be able to get my lung CT scan?
Yeah.
Well,
This is it.
That is a scary thought. One thing I wanted to share with you folks, something I saw today. I was in the pharmacy line at my local pharmacy, right? And I was wondering what is taking so long with the lady up front. There was a lady and a child, you know, because I was there so long, I observed the situation. What I saw shocked me and blew me away. So the pharmacist handed them thing in a bag. And then I was looking to see, you know, she's probably getting her medication. No, she pulls out the swab, shoves it in her daughter's nose and she is not a nurse or, you know, this is just a mom and a daughter. And she's shoving the swab into her daughter's nose, not having a clue probably how to do this other than some basic instructions that maybe the pharmacist or whoever at that window was saying. Shocked me. And then they put it into a bag, which is, you know, what are those bags called?
like a sterile bag?
Yeah, it's they call it something here, like a biohazard bag, and then handed it back to them. And I'm thinking to myself, like, this does not make sense. This is not, you know, what about if she was to push that too far or damage something inside her daughter? So that kind of scared me to the fact that that's actually transpiring here in the U.S. I don't know if any of you guys have ever come across that where you're located at, where you are the person, you know, doing the test or you know, doing the swab or whatnot. That was kind of intriguing to see that. I apologize. But it was pretty interesting to say the least.
That's wild. And here in Canada, there's a lot of people that if they are refusing to get the juice, they have to do 2 or 3 swabs per week, and they have to pay for these things. So you're taking a huge pay cut. So they don't want you to be working with them, you know?
Agreed.
Same here.
But it's truly a scary thought to see where the direction of not just our countries, but the world in general is trending, you know? Now, to kind of give this more of an open forum aspect, do any of you guys specifically want to touch on some specific things that are transpiring in your country that you may not have seen other places? So I don't know if Northern Girl, if you've seen anything different than you've seen happening in other places?
I don't know. I just it's overwhelming, all of it, and I try to get all my news on the YouTube from everyone here, and I don't often get to go out of the house. I really don't. I'm so busy here with pressure canning and doing the homestead thing. So it's really hard for me to say right now. I'll listen to everyone else, and if I get ideas that pop up in my head, then I'll share afterwards.
Okay, that's fair. CG, have you seen anything out of the ordinary in your areas?
Is there anything that you can think of?
I don't know if it's quite relevant, but something I have seen that's kind of that I wonder what the reasoning is behind them doing it is they have in our local city, they have tried to racialize getting the V. Because our local newspaper had an article and the headline was that white adults are the reasons that our vaccination rates are low.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, but
and I could send that, but I haven't seen that anywhere else.
That's a common trend, though.
So now, okay, well, this is South Africa. Like everything gets racialized to some degree,
which is terrible.
Yeah,
Agreed.
But yeah, that's something that I've noticed lately. That it's like, what? Why are you trying to do that? Like, literally, white people are like 8% of the entire population. Like, even if everyone. Like none of the white people got vaccinated, we'd still be above the immunity rate that they say we need to have.
Yeah,
so it's weird. I don't know.
The thing is, yeah, go for it. Sorry.
No, I can't say I've seen anything specific. But yeah, other than that, Newbert?
Yeah, it's just to double down on what Kay said as well. There, it is unfortunate that we do have a very dark past in this country specifically, and most people are well aware of that. And unfortunately, a lot of the media sources, they do tend to do a lot of that type of baiting.
They love to divide people.
Yes, and that's what the problem is that people get divided, and the divisions are always terrible because they come from a place of ignorance. That's where the divisions will always come from, and it causes hatred. And then that's the thing in our country locally. The people at the top in the media try to do it, but if you look at the people in the way that we are as a country, like we are one of the perfect examples of the fact that we have 11 official languages in our country, and we all get along like, sure, we've got some problems, but we're getting along like very, very well.
Everybody's
like
chilled, and we get along.
We love each other. Like we don't see each other. Like we've got a very diverse country, and I'm proud to be South African. I'm proud of a country where we have got a dark past. And it's just testament to the fact that people can move past the separations, even if the people at the top are trying to enforce that upon the people.
But that's not to say it doesn't work on some people.
Yeah, it does work on some people.
There are people of every racial group who fall into that trap of you've had something taken from you, and then they start feeling like, oh, there's something I deserve that I don't have. And it makes people angry. And that happens in every racial group. White, black, we have Khoisan, they're all colored here. Our Indians, everybody's made to feel like a victim in some way. And then it just causes so much anger. It's unnecessary.
I would have thought that in 2021 we'd be past all of this, Like I really thought that like in 2021 we'd be way past, and I think we are getting past it. If you compare us now to like maybe the past, we are in a world that is changing and evolving, and the younger generations, fortunately as well, like really don't give a damn, and that's always beautiful to see. I love seeing that, and it's really something where I just want us to unite as people and move forward. So that's sorry, Lynn. Okay, now
All right, Lynn, your turn.
Okay, so what I'm seeing here is like, going to healthcare, like hospitals. We were just told yesterday that You won't be able to go to a hospital if you haven't been V'd. That's what they're trying to bring in very quickly here. So, you know, that's discrimination against someone's just had a heart attack and you cannot come in unless you've taken the jab. This is
Same here, Lynn. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah,
Same here.
Yeah. And the other thing that I've been very well aware of is just the last month that our supermarket here now delivers to regional, like rural areas. They're going way out. Why is that? I feel that there'll be a shutdown of the supermarkets as time goes on, that people will only be able to buy online and they'll only be delivering all to the areas. So what does that mean? You order online, you want 10 packets of rice, you can only get, you're rationed only 3 packets of rice. So that's coming very quickly here too. So, yeah, we're looking at that. But, you know, Wayne and I made the decision quite a while ago, as you know, that we won't be going to dentists and hospitals and doctors and because we won't be able to because of our own personal choices. So, you know, we're into the natural medicines. We're trying to learn as much as we can. In our local community group here, we're seeking a doctor. We've got potentially a nurse. I hope she's watching right now.
Awesome.
Soon, that will be coming in there. And, you know, a vet will be handy to look after animals. So creating, again, guys, I say, creating your own community of people. Wayne and I are farmers. What can we do? We can produce food for people. That's what Wayne and I are good at. You know, we know veterinary skills to some degree. We know how to forage. So we can give our skills to someone else. Someone else can share their skills back to us, even if it's knowledge, like if there's a researcher in our group.
Yeah,
I just
absolutely.
some great recipes off. Shannon's probably watching this right now. You had a great dog food recipe. Great. I'll start doing that, you know, and I give him a dozen eggs sometimes. Hey, next time I see you, Shannon, I'll give you some eggs. So, you know, that's how it's going to work, guys. We need to get in the bartering system. I can't emphasize this too strongly, that get going with that right now. We're in the midst of it right now here in Australia, that we are prepared to go that extra mile and get that whole community. Hutch touched on it today. You said about community. Am I echoing?
No, you're fine.
I'm good. Okay, so Hutch said about building community. Guys, I'm telling you, USA, get them done now. You know, get your local friends, and you've got to have that trust. Really test the spirits in those people. Spend a lot of time talking to those people that, oh yeah, I'm a prepper, I've got a gun. Do I really want you in my group though? Because, you know, you haven't really proven your intelligence to me yet, you know. So that's what we're looking at now. People that are caring for other people, that's the main priority, if they care, not just for themselves. And what skills do you have? What knowledge? Let's get together. This is for the rest of our lives, guys. We're starting our own little villages.
Yeah, cool.
Agreed. And I wanted to touch on what Citizen was talking about, because here in the U.S., that's a big thing too. I asked myself in 2021, you know, I'm from Cuban descent, and I have friends from all different races, religions, colors, creeds, and so on and so forth. Even my brothers, sisters in the military. Most of the division that we see, because a nation divided is easier to conquer than a nation together. And we all know this, right? You know, once they're united, it's a hard thing for a government to come in and do anything about it, because once a nation's united, it's more of a force to deal with versus the division that they set forth. The racial divide in the U.S. has gotten really bad, and it's not like the aspect of really bad because of the people. It's really bad because of media.
Yeah.
The media and the one percenters, you know, these celebrities, you know, they push this race narrative across to their followers, you know, on social platforms. And these people have billions of people that follow them on their social media platforms. They're influencers. And then along with our government and our media, you know, pushing out this stuff like that, you know, with the whole things with the BLM initiative and stuff like that. Now, luckily, surprisingly, it has come to light here in the U.S. A lot of folks have started to see past that whole curtain, that whole veil that they were using, because none of the money that those folks raised ever went to the communities that it needed. You know what I mean?
No.
So that was something it's finally coming to light, because I know a lot of folks from a lot of different walks of life, and none of them were like, I think all that's hodgepodge. So that being said, I paused it on a question because I thought it might be interesting to see what your guys' take on this. But Ghetto Prepper had a question. He says, ask the panel how their weather conditions are Are they extreme or the same over the last year or so?
Extreme here. Yeah, definitely.
So you're having extreme weather patterns in Canada?
It's crazy. Like my garden's pretty much done. And like, how much time did I actually have to grow anything?
Yeah, agreed.
It's sad. It really is. So I'll be growing inside this winter.
That's awesome, and that's a smart thought. CG, do you have any same sound in Australia? You guys are having some issues as well. I know you guys. Did you guys have droughts this year as well, and fires?
In certain areas, yeah, we have. Higher rainfall than usual in some areas, but yeah, I mean, we've got to be prepared for that too, guys, because I personally believe a lot of that is engineered, and I think we'll be seeing a lot more of that for chaos in the future. To control us more, we're not controlled enough now. We're not controlled enough now, guys. They need to really put the thumb down on our head and push us down a bit more. I mean, lockdowns, you think, oh, no, Australia, we're so controlled. Police brutality in Australia, we're so controlled. They haven't done with us yet.
No, and if they're not done with you yet, then we haven't even seen what you have going on now.
That's right.
You know what I mean? So we're all following in sequence of one another.
We are.
You know what they really don't like, though, is independent minds that are speaking amongst each other, that are from different aspects of the different parts of the world. This exact stream and this exact idea is kind of, I can guarantee you that there are people in certain powerful positions that do not like that there are people that are in the emergency preparedness community speaking about this type of topic. So, but I'm just saying, I know that all of us are willing. The very reason why we're willing to do the YouTube thing as well is because we want to try and get that message out there. And that obviously does come at the jeopardy of not, of kind of disclosing who we are. We're speaking about things and about the way that we really feel about things. And it's just, but I think it's exceptionally important. And I think that the bigger that we can build a community such as this and have these panels as well, I think they're very, very helpful in what people need right now. People need to understand that the world is that we're all experiencing things and that we're not alone, is that we feel like that, because sometimes in the preparedness community, I know that myself specifically, if I speak to fellow people that are in the preparedness community, all fair and well, but a lot of the time, if you ask somebody that is preparing alone, you can actually tend to feel like that you're the only one why are you the only one that's seeing that things could go wrong? Why isn't anybody else seeing it kind of the same way? Like, that's why communities are so important, because I definitely know firsthand what that's like to encounter the normalcy bias consistently when you're like trying to assist others to build a small BOB or to just look at some survival skills or to learn or adapt or increase their skills, their craft, anything. I know that it feels very lonely for some people when they're in the preparedness community and they feel like, but my friends and family don't care about preparedness. Why am I the only one that's doing this? And I got into preparedness about 10 years ago. And in the very beginning, that was absolutely something that I felt quite a lot. So just putting that out there to help people understand that they're not alone when it comes to being a little bit skeptical of the narratives that are being pushed by the mainstream media. But
I forgot to answer the question.
I know, I went on that tangent. Go for it. Sorry, go for it.
We have had some hectic droughts. We've had some bad droughts. At the moment, we're on water restrictions because we've had such low rainfall. Our dams are super low.
Yeah.
So if you use more than a certain amount of water, they fine you. But the problem is our government doesn't have the money to fix all the leaks, all the water leaks. We had one right outside our house, which was municipal property because it was outside our yard. And they took 3 weeks to come and fix it with a constant flow of water. But we're under water restrictions, and then we're in a bad drought. So apart from a bad drought, this is PE, we have wind. But other than that, that's the answer there.
That's the actual. You see why I married up intellectually, because she's there to remind me that there's actual questions that need answering, not just me rambling on again. So There we go. Thank you very much, though.
I appreciate that. My goal behind this panel and hopefully future panels, I hope other channels will see this, regardless of the size that I am. I'm a small channel. I consider myself a small channel. I hope they see this and be like, you know what Grey is doing is something that we should all be doing. Or they reach out to me individually, like, hey, you started this. Let's, I want to be on your panel. I want to have a discussion what's going on in my country and share my experiences with the community as well. I think hopefully this will lead into much more growth amongst the community, and also open people's minds up that are in fear that it's just happening here or there. Again, I want to reiterate that too. There's a lot of folks that are going through this all over the world. So you guys are not alone. I've always told people, and I'm pretty sure you guys as well, if you guys ever need someone here locally or, in my area, reach out to me, send me an email. If you have questions or concerns, I try to get to them in a timely manner as possible, usually within a 7-day period. And now I know Northern Girl has a Discord server. I have a Discord server located below. We can talk a little bit more freely on there. People share information on there. There's regions for everyone. There's regions for, like, let's say South Africa, for Canada, for Australia, even for China and Japan. I'm hoping to get folks all around the world involved in this Discord server, so that we can continuously exchange ideas and update each other on what's going on in our regions.
Yeah, and so you can be connected with people that are local to you as well, right?
Agreed.
I think that's very important.
Very.
Yeah, that's the design of the Discord that I kind of envisioned, and I hopefully it's growing and it's turning into something that's, as it grows, it's just getting better and better. There's some solid information there that people are sharing, and building a sense of community. I know people think it's an online community. Yes, it's an online community, but you can meet people in your regions and in your area, so it's very beneficial.
Yeah.
So I know some people are unfamiliar with that platform, Discord. But it's on your phone, it's on, on the network and stuff like that. I wish I had the opportunity to do something. And matter of fact, there's someone just joined the Discord. I wish I had the opportunity to build something more here locally. I had been meeting a lot of preppers in my area, and I plan on doing something down the road with some of those folks. Exactly, T Prada. T Prada is a neighbor. That happened to pop up, and I know she is, just within a few miles of me. And she's an older lady, and has lots of questions in regards to what's going on, and prepping and just general information like that. But don't ever think that I know everything. I do not. I have a lot of experience in what I do, and knowledge that I like to share. But I'm not an I know everything. I'm not an Ike, and I would say I can attest to everyone on this panel. They all have their specialties. So it's good to be broad in what you watch on YouTube content. Don't take everything that we say like it's gold. You know what I mean? Always check into what we're saying. Look at the research, because we make mistakes as well, just like that. We're all human. That being said, we're at an hour, and I know you guys, we're all these different time zones. And I think as Citizen, I think it's like 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning where you're at.
Oh, wow.
That's why I said
But I'm definitely happy to do this at any point as well. I really enjoy speaking to the three of you. So it really, it's something that I truly cherish. And, the international prepping community as well is something that means a lot to me. So, yeah, we're happy to do this at whatever time you tell me, and I'll be there always. Great. I really support the work you do. So, yeah.
I truly appreciate that. And that being said, I want to get everybody's final thoughts. If you guys have any final thoughts before we end the stream here in a few, we'll start with whoever wants to go first. You want to go first, Northern Girl, with some final thoughts?
No, I don't want to go first. I'll go last.
All right. Well, we'll go with Lynn. Lynn is she's very. I love Lynn's energy. She's just awesome. So Lynn, you go ahead and start off with some final thoughts.
All right. So my final thoughts are create family, whether they are blood or not. Create family. That's really, really important. So, get intense with people. Really get to know them intimately and build that camaraderie. I'm always saying to you guys on the chats, hi, comrade, hi, mate. I don't say that lightly. Before this started, I was a very reserved lady. But, this is why I was always this kind of mind. Something might happen. I was a prepper. No one around me was. So my final thoughts are build family around you, even if they're not blood. And look, if your family isn't supporting you now, just have patience. It's still not too late. They can come on board later on. One and I are grandparents, and our eldest daughter's having another baby in a few weeks' time. You know, if you're grandparents, if you're a parent, if you don't have any children at all, just look after the young ones. Exactly what CG said before. It was so great what he said, how he has that balance of living in that bubble with his daughter, you know, and keep protecting her from what we all know. We're adults. We can handle this. In fact, you know, I spend probably 2 hours a day with my dogs on the farm and talking to my daughters and talking fluffy stuff, whereas the rest of the time I'm deep, serious Lynn looking at the political world and all the rest. So that's my final thoughts on this. Look, have a life in balance, keep serious, keep brave, keep your courage up, and build family.
Awesome. Thank you. Citizen?
Yeah, I could go on for hours. I really, the reason why I can is because I love learning from people, and I often, I see myself as the dumbest person in the room all the time. The reason why I do so is because you can learn a lot like that, and I just want people to also understand that the basis of survivalism and emergency preparedness always has to be willpower and knowledge. And if I don't see those of you in the panel today, not the panel, but the comment section, for those of you that have been here for us to have this conversation as well, I really appreciate that so much. And you've just got to understand that when it does come to survivalism in general, it really comes down to like a mentality and a strong mind, and don't let the things that could potentially impact your day in a negative way, as they do on a daily basis perhaps, the more that you get into survivalism, the more stoic you need your mindset to be about everything, and just love the people that are around you and be more patient with others around you as well. Don't jump to assumptions. Survivalism in general covers a lot of the psychological sides to it, but thank you for allowing us on the panel. Do you want to say something as well? As I said, I can ramble on, but I think that her voice is much better than mine. So.
No, I just maybe I have a dumb way of seeing it, but I feel like almost every generation has like their big thing that they have to go through, and this is like, our big thing that we have to go through, and obviously will have lasting impacts on how we live life going forward from this. I mean, I don't see, sanitizers and stuff leaving ever from this point on, where before it wasn't a big thing. But yeah, I think we have to weather out the storm, and a lot of people don't see an end to the to the dark tunnel. But yeah, I'm speaking from a place where I've had 2 friends take themselves out, so I'd prefer if no more people did that, because it all looks so gloomy and glum. Like, keep positive, people. That's it.
Yeah, that's what I would say is, if you're feeling down, depressed, got some mental health stuff going on, get into the Discord chats, talk to people, because we're there for multitude of reasons, right? And connect with the people that you know in your community who might also be going through the same thing, and just get that chat started, because if you don't engage in the communication, you're not going to know, What else I wanted to say was get your house in order. And by your house in order, I mean, don't just go and tidy your house. Get your stuff in order. Have your extra, even your paperwork, your documentations that you need. Vacuum seal your stuff. Have your bag ready to go if you need to go, and just prep with what you can. It could be as simple as like a bag of beans I picked up the other day, and you just put the beans right into a 2 liter. One sec, I'll show you. like a super easy way
Yeah.
to prep, you know,
Yeah.
very inexpensive. And we don't even like, I don't drink pop. So I got these from my dad's wife, you know, I'm like, I
Right.
can use those. Don't recycle them.
That's awesome. Yeah, and the prepper mindset is reusing and repurposing everything that we can to fit a functional aspect of our lives in regards to our preps. One thing I want to say to you, the folks watching this tonight, is you know, if you do find this information to be truly informative and very important, is if you get an opportunity to, whatever platform that you on, share this video out so that other people can see this information. It may be helpful to someone, even if some people say, "Oh, that's just some prepper talk or whatnot." It might find the right person. It might bring either light to their life in the aspect of they're not alone, or give them something educational. All these people on this panel have different bits of information that they can share. And if you guys haven't subbed to these folks, I've been seeing that the mods have been dropping their links down below. So check those folks out. Matter of fact, when this ends tonight, I will try to put some of their links down below this description, something I forgot to do in the rush to put this together. And like I said, any other content creators that may come across this video, please give me a chance and reach out to me. I'd love to hear from you and do this again with other content creators out there, and show how large of a community that we are. That being said, I want to thank, you Northern Girl, Citizen, Homestead, for taking the time out of your busy lives to join me on this panel and spend some time with the community and express some of your views and answer these questions. I know tonight wasn't the most interactive with the chat. You guys have been talking a lot with you guys amongst each other, so that's always great. So I truly appreciate that. And like I said, if you guys can, check out these guys' channels, support them. You don't have to super chat all the time. It's nice if you can do the membership things, but just watching people's videos, even watching the ads, giving the thumbs up or down if that's what you have to do or choose to. Any interaction with the channels is going to help propel these messages out there into the world. And I think everybody holds value on this panel. So thank you all so much for being here tonight and making this the first ever panel like this, at least from my understanding. I haven't seen it, so hopefully maybe I could be wrong. A lot of folks in chat, I can tell, seem to like this type of situation. So I'm going to try to keep this going, down the road, and I'll probably have some repeats with Homestead Oz or Citizen or Northern Girl as things, transpire in their countries. But we'll also try to get some other folks. I've seen Bajorn in chat and other couple of other content creators out there. Maybe they'll reach out to me as well, and we'll bring some of those folks on some of these panels like this.
Awesome.
Share their information. Other than that, I think that about wraps it up for me. I just, again, such an awesome group of people. You guys make it worthwhile doing YouTube. We're all putting ourselves in a certain aspect of risk, by being vocal in who we are and on a social media platform, because these videos don't disappear. You think you can delete this stuff, but it's always there. So we're trying to, voice our opinions and share this information with you folks. And a lot of us have great content. Check our playlist out. Check some of these videos out. I've seen CG's videos. Some of them are some phenomenal. Lynn, she's a homesteader. You get so much good stuff here. And that being said, I one thing popped in my head as I'm rambling on, is I'm going to do a poll on the community tab after I end this live stream, because some people have stated that they want me to change the name from the International Prepper Conference to International Preparedness Conference. I'll do a poll, and whatever that poll plays out for the next one, I'll either change it or keep it the same.
Cool.
But other than that, I think that's about it. I think anybody else have any last things they want to add before we end the stream?
I just want to say that Wayne and I love you guys so much, and you've enriched our lives so much. All the people in the chat, we know so many of you, and CG, you two, we love you so much down there. We've got to Skype a bit more. And Northern Girl, 12 months ago, you were saying to one line, I've got to come to Australia, but I don't think I'll be able to. Well, here we are talking here. And Grey, we've always loved you, as you know. So that's all I want to say.
Yeah.
Truly appreciate it. So that being said, I want to wish everybody a great night. God bless. Be safe out there, and I will see you guys on the next video. All right.
Awesome show. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye,
Thanks,
guys.
mods.
Bye for now.
Thanks in chat.
Good night.
Thanks, Grey.